and you'd never fought before, and your first fight is in a foreign country with millions of people watching.
The amount of endurance that it requires is actually astounding. I always kind of wanted a nose job. I mean,
this is not a recommendation to pick up boxing, listeners, so that you can justify your nose job, just to let you know. I have Whitney Johns on the podcast today, and you are in for a surprise episode. We are talking about her new pursuit of boxing that she took up 12 weeks before she had her first fight for the celebrity boxing thing that's over the next few months. And it is fascinating, all the lessons that you can apply to your own life from her willing to take in this new journey. So listen in and have fun, because this is one of my favorites. All right, friends, today I have Whitney Johns with us, who has a fantastic story to share. So I don't want to get into too much. I'm going to let her talk. Whitney, say hi to the group.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. I'm so excited that you just made your victory too. So you're just coming off the mountain, or tell me about that. That's crazy. I'm so excited for you.
It is so exciting. I just finished the pursuit, and we were on the mountain for the month of May, essentially. June 1st, 2023 is when the record was set, which is just humbling and awe-inspiring. Wow. So thank you. But
that's amazing. You're superwoman. That is wild. Tell me which exact mountain it was.
Yeah, so I'm the first female to climb the 7-second summits. So that's the second highest point on each continent.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of travel, climbing, balancing.
Yeah. And life-endangering activities. No big deal.
NVD. We're good.
And looking fabulous while you do it with this beautiful hair.
Of course, right? We still got to stay at our feminine in all these pursuits.
Way? I know.
I hear you. Okay, but so the funny thing is that pursuit came to me in 2020 is when I started it.
Wow.
And it was brand new. I wasn't into camping. It wasn't anything like that. And we're like 2023 and the pursuit's done. But it's fun because you're taking on a brand new pursuit that's new to you. So let's walk us through that journey. Because even though we have these established careers and personalities and personas, we're both still open to, let's try something new out of the box.
Totally.
See what happens.
Yeah. So essentially, just to give a little background on me, I have been a coach and an entrepreneur for a long time. I help women and men through their fitness journeys with nutrition and supplementation and with their workout programs and body transformation. I kind of came from the bodybuilding world. I really learned aesthetics, but then it was really like the holistic health piece was missing in that, and a lot of times at sacrifice to achieve the aesthetic goals. So I tried to, with my coaching, sort of build a hybrid model of both and making sure that we're still prioritizing our hormone health, really prioritizing our gut health. I kind of came from a very chronic pain background of not a very good quality of life. And I really had to prioritize these, and I realized how important they were. So I sort of married my passions of looking good and then really feeling good and thriving on the inside, right? Like, how do we do this sustainably to where you're actually going to sustainably keep your results and feel good while you're doing it and have good energy instead of killing yourself at the cost of looking good, right? So that's sort of been my main focus over the last few years, and I've been able to build a brand. And I do a lot of fitness modeling as well. So fitness modeling was a great way to also help market to my clients and kind of build the audience and stuff. So some people know me as just a model. Some people know me as a coach. Some people know me as a fitness guru. You know, I got into my supplement line as well, which is all focused around hormone health and heart health and gut health. As well. So that's sort of been my venture the past year and a half. And then I had an opportunity to participate in a kind of an influencer celebrity boxing match. And it's a tournament, right? So it's a 3-fight tournament. I've always trained in boxing and kickboxing as like, boxercise, as a workout. I enjoyed it. It was a great workout, got a good sweat in, but I had never gone through a fight camp or actual fight training. I never really sparred with people. I never really tested my skills. It was like, I could,
I can't,
I could,
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, don't hit my face. Don't hit my face.
Well, my whole thing was when I first got I always kind of wanted to get in the ring, but I was also like, I spend way too much money on Botox and facials. Like, do I really need to go in there and get my face hit and whacked? And so I was super hesitant, but then there was something about it that called to me, like on a soul level. It was sort of like, it was a fit, but it also wasn't. It was also like, I'm 36. A lot of these people participating in the tournament are in their 20s. I'm like 10, 12, 14 years older than a lot of these girls. I have a brand. I've built my business already. It wasn't like I necessarily needed the exposure. I didn't need to do it, right? But on a soul level, I was like, I was sort of in that place. I'm sure you get this way too, because it sounds like you've lived lifetime after lifetime. And then it's like, what's my next mountain to climb? And it's funny that we're having this conversation, because it was literally like, I feel like I need another mountain to climb. I kept feeling like I need to challenge myself. And I had a coaching call with a client who she was really thinking about, on the verge of doing like a bodybuilding competition or a bikini competition. But she was so afraid of listing all the what ifs. What if she fails? What if she loses? What if she embarrasses herself? What if she doesn't do well? What if she doesn't have what it takes to actually make the kind of transformation to get on stage? And then it was about the same time that this opportunity came, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe if I take on this sort of challenge, which would be complete fish out of water for me and totally out of my comfort zone, I would 100% have to go into being 100% a student again. Like, no, I wouldn't be the authority teaching and helping. I would literally be like, I need to learn, like, I am so humble. I need to learn, how do I do this? And getting literally beat up during the process. Literally.
Right.
Like, I literally have a black eye right now from sparring from yesterday. Thank God for concealer, right? But it was sort of like something clicked for me of, how cool would it be as a coach to go in and to put myself in this position where it does make me vulnerable, and it does open you up to failure and embarrassment, and all the what ifs of what could go wrong. But I knew that it would contain in this experience and this journey lessons that I really need, like surrendering, and we don't have control, and letting go of our ego, and sometimes getting embarrassed and humiliated on the world stage is really good for your character, unfortunately.
Right,
and so sort of like, maybe this is sort of what I need for the next level of evolution of my soul. It was really strange the way that it called to me like that. And it has been such a wild experience. I had my first fight in April, and it was at Wembley Arena. I mean, in London. It was 13,000 people, and it was actually millions of people watching the fight that night. Because of the way that they promoted it, was people from all over the world and influencers with huge audiences, right? Most people have their first fight in amateurs. It's at a fairground. There's 10 people watching. My first fight was literally in front of millions of people. So the level of intimidation and pressure, like, it was pretty extreme. And I lost. And it wasn't like I went in there. I mean, yes, I was really proud of my performance. I fought really hard. I didn't give up. And it was a tough fight. It was a tough opponent, the whole thing. But it was sort of like, how much cooler does that make this journey? That it was like, it doesn't just always go your way. It's literally in the lessons of the failure and being humbled and all of that's where the real good nuggets are. And so, of course, there's pain involved. And of course, there's like the negative side. But I mean, the amount of positive and upside that has come from it has been kind of life-changing a little bit. And I have my second one in Dublin in just under a month. So July 15th is the second one. And then the third one's the end of August. So it was sort of like, you either have to be 100% all in, ready for 3 fights, and you have no idea who you're going to get matched up against in this tournament of girls. You have to fight any of them. And never having really been, in an actual fight. and so learning and going through this entire fight camp of, my man is a professional fighter. So thank goodness I've been able to utilize his tools and his coaches and his, the facilities and stuff. So it's really been this crazy experience of going through what a professional fighter goes through to get ready for a fight. And that alone has just been so valuable. Like just going through that experience and all the ways that it forces you to master your body and your habits and your bad habits. And so I'm really excited. It's been really fun. It's been a wild ride.
Okay. That like we just got dropped so many things just now. This is absolutely amazing. I'm speechless. So I just sat there and just watched with my mouth like holding, like, please don't drop because I am in awe right now. Okay. So you got into this. Mm-hmm. And you'd never fought before, and your first fight is in a foreign country with millions of people watching. And like, do you have rounds?
Yeah, so it's 5 rounds, and they're 2 minutes each. No headgear, because it's like a professional fight. It's 12-ounce gloves, no headgear, because you're really, when I spar, so I have to spar twice a week now. So literally I'm like fighting twice a week in the gym. It's kind of wild. Like the first sparring session I go to, I'm like, so we just fight each other or like, what am I doing? What?
Yeah, do you hit first? Do I just receive? Are we dancing?
Do we take turns? And it's funny because these girls I know and I like, and these are professional fighters, but that I've been around that are friends. And my sister-in-law is one of my main training partners. And like, we got to beat each other's asses like on the weekly. And it's a sport. And it's what it really does show you the level of mastering the craft. Like these professional fighters, I've always had so much respect for fighters. And then now being with one, my partner is a fighter. We've been together for 3 years. So seeing all the ups and downs of what they go through. And it's really interesting to see how like the fighter spirit, the actual true fighter is not this hot-headed ego trying to act tough guy, right? At all. Like actually quite the opposite. They're very much like, I get paid to do this. I don't need to be aggressive towards people in life. I feel like they have sort of an outlet, and it's really about their discipline for them, and it's about their performance, and it's about mastering their athletic capabilities, right? So yeah, it's been wild.
Yes. I mean, yes, it's been totally wild. So when you're fighting and you have this 2-minute break, right? Like you just did your first round.
It's a 1 minute in between breaks.
Yeah. 1 minute in between. So what are you doing mentally? Or, I mean, because I'm guessing it's more mental than what are you doing in that 1 minute to go, okay, I'm going to go back in there?
You are, well, first of all, trying to catch your breath. It is, when I tell you, yes. I mean, I've been an athlete for a long time, but the amount of endurance that it requires is actually astounding because it looks really easy. Like on TV, like you're like, oh yeah, I could totally get in there and scrap. It is exhausting.
No.
Like exhausting.
Yes.
So in between rounds, you're literally just, okay, trying to get your breath. Like this is why I'm doing a lot of breath work daily now to really to master those muscles of like breathing and fully getting in full exhales, full inhales. So you're really just trying to catch your breath. You're listening to your corners. They're giving you some advice. So they have a way better eye on what's going on. Okay, you're dropping your hands, like you need to pivot out more. You need to angle around. So you're trying to pick up what their advice is. Your adrenaline is going so hard that you're also just trying to like stay calm and stay in the moment. There's a crowd, there's lights, people are screaming. It's, they're cheering. If you lost the previous round, like my boyfriend's best advice to me was, and I think this is the best advice I've probably ever received, anything across the board, entrepreneurially, spiritually, personally, anything, is have a short memory. Have a short memory. Don't dwell on whatever you just messed up on in that last round, because if you dwell on where you screwed up, you're screwed in this next round. You have to literally forget. And okay, what do I got to do moving forward? Like forget what just happened, and just know I got to fight even harder, and I have to be even better on this next round. So I think that's the biggest thing is like wipe the slate clean. And I think that's such a good advice for, as an entrepreneur, how many
Mhm.
times do you fail? How many businesses do you try? How many opportunities do you try to seek? And then you try and you just either don't have what it takes or it didn't work out or you have to pivot, right? But you have to keep a short memory. And if you dwell on that as though, okay, wow, I suck, or I shouldn't even be doing this. Why am I even doing it? It's like that is the worst possible place mentally for you to be. So just moving forward and persevering on where do I want to end up? And that's what I'm focusing on. Like, what can I do to end up there? So that's kind of the only thing you can really fit in that 1 minute rest
I can't,
while
yeah,
you're
no, I
heaving.
can't even all the stimulation from the outside, trying to get your
Oh my gosh.
breath back and even understanding what someone's saying to
Oh
me.
yeah.
I don't even know how that even happens.
Right.
And so I love the tip of it's done, let it go, move on.
Yeah.
Short memory is how you win. Okay, have you ever cried? Like, have you ever gotten hit where you
Oh,
cry, or is it
not,
like your body waters?
it's
Because I would
funny.
imagine like you tear your nose.
Sometimes you'll tear up in just your eyes will start watering just from the impact. Like if you get really hit hard in the nose, your eyes will just automatically start kind of watering. But it is really interesting because you're you don't feel it. Like it looks so much worse than it actually feels. Your adrenaline is
Okay.
pumping. Your body is amazing. The way that it taps into this
Yes.
kind of survival fight mode, right? It is protecting you from all the pain that's going along with it. And it's funny because the my first fight was with an opponent who was at least 20 pounds heavier. She made weight on the night, but then rehydrated, and she was 6'1", and she was a massive girl. She was super strong. And it was like, that was the one girl that I was like, oh shit, I gotta fight her first. I'm like, this couldn't be at the end. Like what? So I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I was not going to back down. And I kept going. Well, she ended up knocking me down in the fourth round. So she didn't knock me out. She knocked me down and she got me with a really bad uppercut. And it like literally like my legs went straight and I fell. But I got right back up because there was no way I was going to quit or, let that be the way that it ended. But even that, hardly any pain whatsoever. The next day, I had a couple like swollen bruises. I had a little bit of a black eye, which I've honestly had worse from sparring. I was shocked because I took some big shots. But it is kind of interesting how, my poor mother and my friends and family that were traumatized watching me get hit in the face.
I
They're just
I
like,
can't
I
even
don't want to
imagine.
watch you get hit in the face. What are you doing? And so I kept trying to tell them, I swear it's not as painful as it looks. Your body is amazing at protecting you from just the nerves that'll run through you to protect you from the pain. But there's been plenty of times I had a mental breakdown the other day, this week, with my coach. And, I'm hitting mitts. It's an incredible emotional roller coaster because on 1 minute you're feeling super confident and you're like, okay, I can do this. I can beat this girl. I've trained my hardest. And then the next hour, you read a comment on the internet of somebody hating on you and, you should not even be doing this. And then there's all of a sudden you get into this rabbit hole of like, oh my gosh, am I going to embarrass myself if I lose again? Like, then I'm just totally embarrassed. Like the mental aspect is, I think, the most difficult when it comes to combat sports is because it's literally only you in there. It is you, it's your brain and your body working together. It's not your team. Your team's helping you, but nobody's in there taking the licks and making this stuff happen but you. And that's one of the rushes of this sport is it's literally like it's all on the line for you. So you have to take it as it comes. Like I have the emotional roller coaster and it's like you have to just take it as it comes and it's going to happen. And then you have to just have a short memory. That's okay. Finish the training session hard. Like the only thing you can do is press forward. The only way out is through, truly, when it comes to this. Like it's like I've signed on to this. I've committed to it. There had been times where I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I even doing this? I could literally,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't even need this. Like, I could be
right.
traveling. I could be, instead of training twice a day and putting myself through grueling shit, really. So it's sort of like, you just have to remember your why. And my why was really to hopefully inspire others and also prove to myself that I could do something out of my comfort zone and rise to the occasion. And it was really rewarding after my first fight, and I lost, and it was a really hard week actually, because
Mm-hmm.
you're getting, the clip that goes viral is me getting knocked down, and everybody is just excited to crap on the pretty girl, right? They're like, you shouldn't have, you should have stuck to modeling. Like, they want to diminish you in so many ways, and it's hard not to hear all of that,
Yeah.
right? It's hard not to
Right.
hear all of that. But then out of the woodwork came so many messages of people that were like, I just want you to know, I am so inspired. Like, I signed up to do a triathlon this week. That coaching
I
client that I
know.
had, she signed up to do her bodybuilding competition. Like, it was sort of like hearing that I've maybe inspired somebody to take on a challenge that they were afraid to do and just say, screw it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we literally have one life. Like, let's squeeze the
Mm-hmm.
juice out of it. You really don't know what you're capable of until you try. And you might stumble, you could lose, you could, you could trip and fall along the way, but the journey's not over. And like, why not give yourself that opportunity?
Yes, yes, yes. That's like all the same things that I felt in my quest and my journey, and just saying, okay, if I fail the summit, the journey was still pretty amazing. Like, the lessons that I learned, the people that I met, the places that I got to explore, the things that I got to improve about myself, and realize it's not the summit. I mean, it's fantastic when you get to that summit, but it's all the things that go with it that, I mean, sure, they're ugly in moments, but overall, you're just, oh, I'm such a better human
Such a
because I
better human.
now understand it.
Well, what I like too
Yeah.
about your situation is like, you put that out there on all of your, I am attempting to be the first woman. You literally like manifested it, but you also, it takes balls to say, this is what I'm going for. And then what if I
Yes.
fall short? Like, oh no. But
Right.
like, and I literally have
Right.
already told everyone in my life that I'm aiming for this. And so if I don't get there, they're going to know that I fell short, and they're going to know I failed. But it takes courage, and it makes it even sweeter when you finally get there. So I commend you for,
Yes.
you could have kept that
Yes.
quiet, or you could have just said, yeah,
I wanted to keep it quiet, right? Like, it's
yeah,
so much more comfortable to talk about it afterwards. I'm like, oh,
totally.
we'll just share after the event.
Right.
And then a friend of mine said to me, she's like, listen, Jen, one, this is like starting when COVID's like still kind of just dwindling down. The closest we're going to get to any of these experiences is through you. So if you can at least find the courage to share this, then we get to learn along the way and have permission to try and fail and reset and learn and beta test and all the different things.
Totally.
And
You're
the
giving
gift is
them a
to our,
gift. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Which I'm like, okay, fine, you got me. I'll try that. But that doesn't take away the overwhelm
Totally.
or the, oh my gosh,
Or
what
the
did I just
fear.
say?
Oh my
Or
gosh. Yeah. It's the
yeah, the fear.
vulnerability. It's almost like the vulnerability
Yes.
hangover, right? Because you're like, okay, I already put that out there. I can't undo it. Oh God. And then it's like, ugh, I just made myself so vulnerable. And then if I don't show up the way that I want to, then like, that's a whole lot of eating humble pie. But I think that is
Yes.
so good for a person. I think it's so good for a person.
Yes.
And I'm just really glad that you made it happen and you made it work. But even if you didn't, it's like, how cool is it? How many women can say that they even climbed one of those,
And I failed. Like, I failed two of the mountains. So I remember you get some momentum and the first few were a success. I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be checking boxes. I don't know how my brain all of a sudden made everything coming ahead that much easier. So then all of a sudden you get smacked in the face because you have to turn around on one of the mountains. And that is soul sucking. That is, oh my gosh. And so then I went to the next mountain, and this is what's crazy. The next mountain I went to, I had curated all this gear that was just perfect for this mountain and spent all this time because it was technical. And I get to the location and the airline lost my luggage. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And they said, oh, sorry. And guess what? It's the climbing window now. So either climb in rental gear that will go find you, or you like fly back to the United States. And I'm sitting there thinking, are you kidding me right
Oh
now?
my
I
gosh.
cannot fail another one after this last one. Like, give me that rental gear, darn it. And so, but at the same time, like the entire time I'm climbing, my mind, I had to lock into a mantra. So my mantra was, hey, any step we take on this mountain is beta for coming back.
Yeah.
Like I took the summit off my brain because I didn't want that pressure. And so I said, okay, I'm just collecting beta. This trip's just a beta trip now that you lost on my luggage. And then when I summited, it helped fill the void of the lack of success on the last mountain, but it didn't entirely fill it. Right? Like that.
It'll hurt forever.
It's still,
it'll
it
hurt
haunts you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
For sure. I mean, I still cringe at like, oh gosh, like all the things I could have done differently and all the things that went wrong. And it will probably always haunt me, but it's also, I mean, how much courage it takes to just still like, after I got knocked down, it was like in the 5th round, I fought even harder because, and most people, and I had a lot of people that appreciated that. They're like, a lot of men wouldn't even do that. They would, when you get knocked down, you're rocked, first of all, and you literally are like, well, where am I a little bit? And then to go out there and still say, no, I want to fight. Because they ask you, do you want to fight or do you want to quit? Because you just got rocked. I'm like, I want to fight. And so to go out and just keep, and it's also like at that point, you also kind of know in your head, like, okay, I lost the fight because the scoring, unless I would have won every single round up until then, it would have been tough to win after a knockdown just because of the points and how it works with the scoring. But it was like, I'm not going to quit one round early. I'm still going to go out there and fight my ass off. And I want a lot of respect for that, from the people that matter, and the people that are eager to jump on you and hate you. These were never going to be my people anyways. They were never going to buy my supplements. They were never going to be my customers. So you have to keep that in perspective too, of not being afraid to fail. Like I had to fail on a world stage, right? Which unfortunately comes with a lot of crap. But like any failure, any kind of, even if it's in front of 5 people, even if it's just in front of your team, in front of your family, it's still hard to do. But to be able to have the courage to say like, well, I tried my best. And, my situation was sort of like, would any of you have the balls to get into a ring like that? Like, I don't think so.
Right.
So, you have to, it strengthens your own sense of self-worth and your own mission, like what you're really doing this for. Because if you were doing it for everybody else, it would not make it worth it at all. No way. Even if I would have won, they would have had things to say. No matter what happens on the result on my next fight, there's still going to be people that want to discredit you or, oh, your form sucked, or it's like, I'm not a professional fighter, but I put myself out there. And, to me, I'm proud of that. So I think it's important to put yourself in those situations. And if you're a person who needs challenges, seek them out. Like the world is literally full of opportunities, whether it's physical challenge, whether it's a mental challenge, whether it's, something in your business, there's constantly something to get better at. And I think that a lot of like, especially people that struggle with mental health, if you are in a slump or a depression or something, that one of the best things you could do is either serve others or take on a challenge that is going to get you out of your own way. Because that is that is one of the best ways to just strengthen that belief in yourself. You're on a journey with yourself.
Yeah. And you just squeeze out brain space that spins you out of control, right? Like if you're so focused on something else, you don't have time to be, oh, should I be miserable or should I be looking at this differently?
Totally.
Yeah, you can't. Like there's no room for pity parties.
No.
So for me, like I can even tell I'm back from this quest, right? It was June 1st. I got back a few days after that. And it's fascinating to me to not have that pursuit be my North Star. And it's like how sloppy I get on so many things. Like I need that discipline and that structure and all of those pieces. Otherwise I start eating unhealthy, which then makes me not want to do a workout, which then makes me, and then I'm not happy. And like, it's just fascinating how much I need that for me to succeed.
Just to tie everything together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think it is important to also have, like, we all need periods of taking a step back and taking a breath and literally regrouping. I think those periods are just as important, if not more. I have to remind myself of that because I am kind of by nature like, well, okay, what next? What else can I do? Push forward, and kind of drive yourself into the ground that way. And it's like, you can't pour from an empty cup. And we need those periods of like, okay, now I'm going to deload and I don't have to be, on, but then kind of getting back on the wagon at some point soon. And whatever that looks like, because I'm totally with you where it's like, when the structure and the discipline of this North Star goal goes away, the structure and the discipline of your daily activities can go away too. Then you're drinking more and then you feel like, whatever. It's like you let certain bad habits creep back in and then you're not happy again. So I think it's good to have sort of a healthy balance of that.
Yeah. And I'm in a big, I'm like realign, restore, recalibrate, recover, like that. I'm kind of in all the R's right now. Tomorrow I'm going to try a sweat lodge for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And I've been doing breath work and meditation because everybody keeps asking, what's next? What's next? And I'm like, I know something is going to happen in the next so many months that's going to inspire me.
Totally.
So my job is to just get myself back to center.
Yes.
So when it comes up, I'm able to operate on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Like not going out there just to make something fit, like fitting a square peg into the round hole just because you're bored that you're not accomplishing something. I think is really important to be aware of, because I think that's also something that people can do is then all of a sudden you're lost. Your direction is a little lost. You veered off into this weird other thing that you're trying to accomplish, but you're like, does that actually bring me fulfillment, or did I just need to take a pause and let it come to me?
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so I'm looking at how absolutely stunningly gorgeous you are, and I would be thinking, if I got in a fight, they're going to break my nose. Like, what is your biggest fear in these fights that you go into?
The nose thing is
the nose.
A little bit, and I have a big prominent nose, and it gets hit every time I spar. So I have like a little bump on the nose that was kind of cute and Wonder Womanish before, and now it's just getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, I swear, arnica is just like part of my daily beauty routine now. It's like my moisturizer and then arnica. And that is one of those things where I'm like, who knows? I could end up needing who knows? I might need a surgery. I always kind of wanted a nose job. I mean,
this is not a recommendation to pick up boxing, listeners, so that you can justify your nose job, just to let you know. We're giving you permission before you take on boxing. If that's something you desire,
do it, just
serve yourself.
Don't get beat up
just
in order to do it.
But don't pick up boxing after, okay? If you're going to do boxing first and then evaluate the nose job.
Don't ever box again once you get the surgery. Yeah.
Yes. From the time that you said, hey, I'm going to do this boxing pursuit to the time that you had this April 1st huge fight, how much time did you have?
It was about 10, 12 weeks.
10 or 12 weeks? Yeah. And the only boxing you did before was like cardio fitness, boxing, kicking?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It was a lot.
First, is that the same for everybody or is that just for you?
For most of the girls in the actual tournament, yes. Typically, I mean, they wouldn't recommend you doing your first fight for probably at least 6 months to a year, like of actual fight training. So it was definitely like you're on a crash course. And when I tell you there's, I've always been an athlete. I've always been a very physically minded person, love working out. But when I tell you the amount of mastery and things to learn in your body and just how your body moves and operates, it is never ending with any kind of combat sport, and boxing specifically. So there's still so much that I went into that first fight, and I'm going to go into the second fight feeling like I know some things. I don't know
Yeah.
a fraction of what pro fighters know, but I have to go out there and own it and know that I'm kind of shooting in the dark in some areas, because it's literally, there's no way to learn all of what you're supposed to learn in that amount of time. And I think that's one of the draws of the celebrity influencer boxing scene, is that it's like, these are not professionals. These are literally people that are novices that are going to try and go out there and do something. And that's kind of what makes it thrilling and exciting to watch. So, but yeah, it's been, it's 2 to 3 workouts a day sometimes, and there's still not enough time to learn everything that you need to learn.
No, I can't even imagine. One of my sons was interested in boxing. So I took him to the gym, and so I'm sitting there like watching, because it wasn't worth driving home to come back to get him or whatever. And they have one of those bags where I think you're supposed to go like this the entire time.
Yeah.
A speed bag. Okay. I can't even hit that 5 times in a row without being off like the thing. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? It's unbelievable.
Same. My first session, I mean, when you see, it's pretty cool to see the progression. Like the first session trying to do the speed bag was like a joke. And then, and then trying to do, even jump roping. I was terrible at jump rope. And then my first sparring session, I got my ass kicked, right? And now it's like, okay, I'm going in there and I'm like tagging these girls up and able to kind of hang with them. And so to see that progression is really cool and very rewarding, of like, wow, like I have really come a far way. And of course, I'm still not going to be a professional finessed fighter when I go out there, but that's okay. And I have to surrender to that vulnerability and like, okay, well, people can say whatever they want, but I'm out here doing my best. So
yeah. Okay. So you have the fight that you had in April. You have one in July and then one in September?
One in August.
Okay. So the last 2 are close together. Do you see yourself continuing past this pursuit, or you feel like this is a one and done?
I could. And it depends. Obviously, like the money has to make sense and the opponents and all that stuff. But I've had a couple offers from other organizations, and it could be. But again, I'm 36, and it's like, I didn't get into this to have a long career in boxing necessarily, but I do think that it would maybe potentially move into a kickboxing, or it could maybe move into like, okay, and now I'm going to get into jiu-jitsu and continue on with the combat sports. I think combat sports has always been so good for my mental health. I think anyone that's a trauma survivor, get into combat sports and train and learn how to master your body and to learn how to protect yourself and feel powerful again. And that was a big part of why I got into it as well, is sort of wanting to take your power back in a way of like, I can hold my own, even though there's been times in your life where you've been made to feel weak and powerless and dominated over, right? So I do think it's a really good outlet and a really good healthy outlet, but we'll see if I do another one. We'll see if I do more. I'm definitely open to it, but who knows? I mean, at some point, I have to grow up.
No, you don't. Don't buy into that garbage. Okay, like no one. All the rest of us are trying to like, how do we get that child back? Right? How do we get our like child love back? So please don't grow up. It's not worth it. Yeah, I'm like still just taking. I love you. You have no idea. This is so awesome.
No, yes, I think that's why I was resonating so much with like your recent challenge of just like, how cool is that? Because, and it's not like it's necessarily a fit. It wasn't even like you said you had never even been camping before you decided to go do it, and it's like, screw it, like YOLO, like I have one life, like and it's crazy what you are capable of doing and the strides that you've made. Like you clearly made huge strides from going no outdoor experience really at all to literally like sleeping on a mountain for a month and climbing these crazy summits is so cool. So hats off.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think anybody doing that's willing to risk and try and put themselves out there. And like you said, you're in the arena, right? You have teams, you have supporters, you have mentors, you have coaches, you have all these people behind you. But at the end of the day, we're all in the arena of our own lives.
Yeah.
Like it's us against us.
Yes.
It's us against having the best life ever. And there's always going to be noise and always little chirpers.
Oh yeah.
And you just have to learn how to say, okay, do your thing. I'm doing mine. And
Yeah.
if you want to watch my arena, so that if you were living in your arena, you wouldn't be watching mine and you wouldn't be able to chirp.
Right.
Right.
It's like,
It's
okay,
crazy.
have fun with that. But I also, yeah, I think that it's one of those things where you think about the legacy you want to leave behind, right? Too, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what kind of person were you? And what did you try? Like, what did you actually like try to do? And it's like, you know, accomplishing things or not. It's like, did you have the balls to go out there? Like, I think one of my biggest values is courage, is to
Mm-hmm.
like that is one thing that's very important to me, and I respect it a lot when I see it in other people, no matter what the outcome. To me, that's more important than success, right? Like having the
Yeah.
actual courage to go and do something and to try, to me, and because that comes with growth and then helping others, and there's so many things that come along with courage, right, as the umbrella emotion, that I think is so valuable. So hopefully it inspires others to kind of step out of their comfort zone, do the same.
Of course it does, right? I mean, that's why we watch to begin with, is
Yeah.
that inspiration or that like it. Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so you have the fitness business and you have the supplement business. What one came first? What one do you love the most? Like we all have projects, but some of us get pulled into ones that are bigger heart projects than others.
I think the fitness was always kind of my constant of, it was really what did help save my life, like fitness and nutrition and just learning about how the body works. And it really put a lot of, you know, tools in my toolkit of confidence. And so I always wanted to be a trainer, and I started doing it one-on-one in client. This is when I lived in Los Angeles at the time, and I worked with clients one-on-one, training them. And then I wanted to reach more people, so I built my app and my online programs and stuff. So that's been really cool, and it's sort of been my constant for years now. And then the supplement project was really important to me because I just kept seeing so many lies and misinformation being
Mm-hmm.
spread in the fitness industry in order to achieve the fitness, you know, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
all these very unhealthy things in order to get fit. I'm like, this is not make sense. And I learned the hard way. I suffered from horrible hormonal damage, really bad gut health. You know, a lot of these shortcuts that I took on my, even like my bodybuilding journey, was like, oh, okay, I have to help teach people to do this the right way. So the supplementation, I've always been a supplement junkie. I've always been a believer in its quality. You know, you get what you pay for when it comes to supplementation, and it makes a huge difference if you know what you're doing and taking, and it's the right stuff. So I love that. It's been a really cool. We have another product coming out. It's a collagen anti-aging product, which I'm really excited about because I'm all about preservation. You know, I'm like
Yeah. Yes.
anti-aging, and I'm
Yes.
as vain as the next person.
Yes.
So you know, it's
Okay.
it's from the outside and the inside. We want to feel young and we feel energized, but also like, what's wrong with looking amazing and showing off this hard work, right? So, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have a gut health product that's coming out. That's kind of my baby. Gut health was hugely important. I mean, even just for my mental health, I had gut health issues and digestive issues and all kinds of stuff going on. It really affected my mental health and my cognition and my depression and anxiety, panic attacks, to the point where most people don't realize how connected they are. It is literally like the gut is the second brain, right? All of the happy chemicals that we have and create are created in the gut, most of them. And so when people are eating like garbage and then they are super depressed, it's like, well, let's connect the dots here. And I'm trying to, you know, like encourage more of that awareness. And so the gut health product I'm super excited about. I think it's going to be really kind of a staple of the line. So it's fun. It's fun to like
Oh, for sure.
create new products, get into new markets, and then learning the e-commerce side of things has been so, I mean, a whole other mountain to climb because there's so much to learn in that space, and running your business online, and really knowing how to reach people and do it in an authentic way. So it's kind of just like, you know, we're never bored over here. There's lots
No,
of work
no,
to
no,
do
no.
always.
Yes. No, and I can tell you. So I got anthrax on K2. which is unheard of, right? But I had a compromised immune system, so that bacteria was easy to jump in and grow legs and cause all kind of havoc.
Oh, wow.
And I never realized that connection between mindset and your stomach until I had to be on antibiotics that wiped out everything for a while.
They kill your gut.
They kill your gut, and then they kill your ability to get back to, like, your normal is not normal. Right. And I was just amazed. So I worked with a dietitian from Nutritional Fitness for since I got off the antibiotics, and I'm just now starting to be like consistently back to who I am and what's normal for me and all of that. But it's a journey when that gets knocked off. And with the way our lifestyles are today and the things that we all put into our body, it's amazing that we don't have more depression and anxiety.
I know.
To be honest with you.
I know. I mean, it's rampant right now. It's awful. Like, the mental health crisis is it's a big problem. And it's because of all the things that we're consuming. I mean, it's definitely not helping. So it sort of turns into this vicious cycle, right? Because then you start to crave the things that are really bad for you. It's like trying to get off drugs. That's how addictive some of these chemicals are, and additives and little things in the processed food that we don't even realize are causing so much harm. And even things marketed as health products, are like ruining our gut health. And then it's like you ruin everything else. Like that, it's just a trickle down effect of feeling, low energy and low cognition and non-functionality, and then just feeling a little worthless. And then it's feeding into the self-esteem stuff. And then suddenly you have full-blown mental illness going on. And so, it's definitely an important thing. And I hope people are learning a lot more, I think, about gut health now. It's becoming a lot more of a hot topic, and people are understanding a little bit more of the value of it. So hopefully we can keep with that trend.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely coming that way. And one of the tips that this nutritionist gave me is like, hey, listen, Jen, if you eat let's say you eat a meal and you're still hungry, you're not still hungry. That's something in your body that's saying, oh, that was bad. Your body doesn't like it, but your body doesn't like it and wants more of it because it can't get satisfied now. And so it really allowed me to check in after every time I ate. I'm like, oh, is what I'm eating right now causing me to feel full to my next meal? Or is it saying, oh, I need another cookie.
Right.
Like, it's really hard to eat one Oreo, right? All of a sudden the row of Oreos is gone. That's because there's something in that Oreo that's not really healthy for you, and your body wants to dilute it. So it wants more stuff in your system to dilute it and not have it have the impact. And so when you add the same thing that's causing the problem and double down, triple down, or row down on the Oreo piece, that's a struggle. Row down.
Yeah, totally. I know.
It could happen.
It's a vicious cycle. Yeah, I used to be in the binge eating cycle too, where because you end up binging because, again, exactly, your body's trying to drown out the bad stuff. So it's sort of like, give me more, but then all you're craving now is the saturated fats and the chemicals, the sugars. It's like a drug. Some of the sugar is almost as addictive as cocaine in a lot of these studies that they're seeing now. So to try to get clients, I have a lot of clients that are very sugar dependent, and they're very they're used to just having sugar daily because it gives them that dopamine rush that they're looking for, right? And so to get them to try to break that habit, they will literally go into withdrawals, headaches, shakiness, they're feeling sick,
cold, you get cold, the shivers, all of it.
Body temperature dysregulation. So it's a tough one, but I think the sooner people wake up to the fact that this is going to be a really bad road you're going down, the sooner we can get off that road, the better. And it's going to suck in the meantime. It's not going to be comfortable, but you're going to feel so much better once you do. Is super important.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay. So I want the listeners to follow you. So tell us where we follow you, how we could watch your fight, become your fan, potentially client, maybe supplement assistance, all that good news.
At Whitney Johns on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, on all the things, TikTok. I'm still learning. There's some new social media platform every day. I'm like, can we just stick with one? God, can there just be a universal one that we all look at? But yeah, at Whitney Johns and then whitneyjohns.com, and you can check out my supplements. You can check out my coaching programs, and it's all there. So I would love, or
I
if you
like it.
send me a message if you hear the episode. I always love connecting with people on that as well. So send me a DM or a message. I'm on LinkedIn too, so whatever works. We try to keep it up to snuff on the technology, right?
Yes, 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 yes. This e-commerce world is a whole different gig, but we're
My
learning.
gosh,
We're
we
learning.
are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, friends. So how do we watch your fight if it's live?
Oh,
How do we watch that?
so that will be, keep an eye on my Instagram, or you can go to Kingpin.
Okay.
Kingpin is the promotion, King PYN, and they will have it streaming. So there's going to be
Okay.
a streaming app that it will be available on, that they'll release those details, because I think they switched the platform. So it'll be
Okay.
somewhere new this time. But yeah, you can stream it. It's a lot of fun.
Excellent.
It's going to be a good time in Dublin. I'm
Ooh.
so excited to go to Ireland. So that'll be a fun experience.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, we're cheering you on. We appreciate all the knowledge that you dropped today, and thanks for
Thank
sharing
you.
your story.
Thank you so much.
Yay.